changing it up a little bit.
Oh.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace, and of course, tonight on Sports Minute, we actually have a very special guest tonight. Guess who it is? It's that man right there, Mr. John Alcorn. How you doing tonight, my man?
Good, man, and thank gosh, I don't care if it is the Hall of Turd game, Hall of Fame game, whatever it is. Finally get some football back in here. I know you're an Oregon fan, so it's been a while. Obviously, I'm kidding. I'm a Texas fan, so we didn't have that much better. But no, we're doing good, and I'm just ready to trash talk some of Isaiah's takes and his teams.
All right, and then of course the Vic is here tonight. The Vic, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I shaved because J-Mac's not here.
You shave because J-Mac is not here. I like it.
I don't want to be the bearded one if he's here. If he's not here.
Oh, so yeah, you're right. You can't be the bearded one. And then of course we have Big B. Big B, how you doing tonight?
Hey, doing okay. I'm, just like John, ready for some football to catch up. As long as it's not Oregon Duck football or San Diego Charger football.
Oh my! Oh, Atlanta.
I think you're starting to get to her. I think you're getting to her because you're already.
Just say the name Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Oh, Chip Kelly. I'm saying it, Chip Kelly.
Change the way people look at college football.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm changing it right now. All right. So before we jump into our regular topic, since I just kind of got this big update here, this is how I wanted to start the show really quick. Is that so? Sources out there right now are saying that the trade talks are heating up with Deshaun Watson, and potentially it's showing that there's kind of an agreement in place between the Texans and the Eagles. There's just a few hurdles to jump over, but this could be a trade that could potentially be happening. So with that, John, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start out with you. If this trade happens and Watson actually goes to the Eagles, what does this mean for the NFC East?
The Eagles would win it. I mean, you got your receiver you got in the second round last year. You got your Alabama receiver you got this year. Miles Sanders is a question mark, but you also have Deshaun Watson's mobility. Yeah, of course, the biggest thing on their offense, besides been trying to shop Alshon Jeffrey for the past 2 years because he's garbage, and Zach Ertz having contract issues and he's not wanting to cut back or depending on the money. Their aging offensive line. Jason Pierce on a one-year deal, 37, 38 years old. The offensive line is aging. So if you're bringing Deshaun Watson, how are you going to protect him? Because it's the same thing like in Houston. Terrible offensive play, or their offensive line players are getting older. But it would be between Washington and Philadelphia. And John Elway needs to be arrested because he had another chance to get another quarterback.
All right, so Vic, Isaiah saying that he loves your cap. He's saying go Ducks. So I don't know. So who knows? Is he a fan of that? But
no. Why?
But
you only hate them because they're awesome.
So Big B, this comes to you now. What do you think? What do you think this trade would mean for the NFC East? And right.
I mean, honestly, NFL in general, this is going to be huge. I mean, John said it. I think he nailed it. They get them. Eagles are probably Super Bowl contenders. I mean, you just never know with the NFL, but this is shocking because I know when all this talk started again, they wanted like 5 first-round picks and caliber players for Watson, and I think everybody was laughing at him. So it'd be kind of interesting to see if this comes through, to see who or what the Titans or Texans are getting from Philly for this. And I'd like to hear from some Philly fans if we find some to find out what they think of this deal.
Well, you got to think it would almost have to be like Jalen Hurts or something. You would think because that's why they moved on from Wentz because they were thinking that Jalen Hurts was kind of the guy. So now I'm thinking, and I know that Face John, trust me, I completely agree with you. But I'm thinking at that point, that's why they moved on from Wentz because they thought that Jalen Hurts was the guy. But now, if they come in and get Deshaun Watson, Jalen Hurts is going to be shipped off. He's got to be because.
But what team would want him?
Quarterback at that time. What
team would want him? He
If-
would. I bet
if
Sam
Houston's
Ellinger would be a
making a
better
trade-
catching player than him. Like what team
Yeah.
would actually? I understand he goes to Houston, but then you have Tyrod Taylor's going to be this guy this year. You drafted David Mills, I believe, in the third or fourth round, so he wouldn't be as much of a use, especially when you got Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsay. So Tyrod Taylor's going to be the guy because they're going to tank. I'm sorry, Houston is a
Yeah, Houston's not going to be good. They're not going to be good. Just think they traded Randall Cobb, and that was
Watts
potentially
is gone.
What?
Watts is
JJ.
gone. I mean,
Yeah,
JJ Watts, he's gone.
Yeah, but JJ Watt, he's kind of getting up there in age. Does he really stay healthy? I mean, not
Oh, yeah.
really.
No,
Well,
I
he's
get what you're
JJ
saying.
Watts with the
Comes to-
Cardinals, but yeah, he definitely is getting
Yeah.
older, and that's a big concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I said when he got when he went to Arizona, not traded, but when he signed with Arizona, people thought it was a big loss for Houston. I'm like, not really, because he can't stay healthy. He's constantly hurt. So
Even if he could stay healthy, the problem is that who else is on that defense? David Clowney didn't make him better. There's a reason why he's on another team in Cleveland with a 1-year, $10 million deal. Who do you have left in Houston? Philip Lindsay. I feel bad for him. I wanted him to stay in Denver, John. But then you bring in Ingram, and you bring in Philip Lindsay for what? A team that's going to be tanking with Philip Lindsay, undrafted, 1,000 yards purple his first year. So you bring him in, and those two guys in. Like this team has no identity, and now what are you gonna do? You don't have an identity. You don't have a starting quarterback. You don't have a bridge quarterback. Tyrod Taylor's gonna get injured, or somebody's gonna screw him over. So then who do you have after that? Davis Mills is a young quarterback. He's a rookie. Rookies are unproven, just like the Vikings in the Super. With never mind. But you kind of get my point there.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Houston's going to be the worst team in the NFL. No more. I'll be generous. I'll say 4-13. Make sure I try one.
So it looks like the Vic is back. So Vic,
I clicked the wrong button.
oh, it's fine. Sorry for the little bit of a technical difficulties we're having tonight. I'm not sure, but anyways, Vic, when it comes to you, what do you think this trade would mean for the NFC East?
I think Jerry Jones will poop his pants.
But okay, he would. But think about it, Vic. I don't know your name, but like Jerry Jones is like an old like a Clint Eastwood character. Has a lot of pride. Has a lot of ego. But the only thing is with the Eagles, with their aging offensive line, remember, you got Chase Young, you got all those guys coming in. So with that aging offensive line for the Eagles, how is that going to work out? Is Deshaun Watson going to get hit a bunch of times just like he did in Houston? Are we going to say the same situation where he puts up great numbers, but it doesn't show up because his offensive line stinks? Jerry Jones, no matter what happens, Jerry Jones is going to make it about him. He has a self-inflated ego bigger than Peyton Manning's forehead.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. But so Vic, you're coming out saying that Jerry Jones would poop his pants, which he undoubtedly would. But would you at this point, if the Eagles got Deshaun Watson, would you put them as the favorites in the East?
Yes. Strictly because it's like a 30 steps up from what they have in Jalen Hurts.
And so Caleb Davis is saying that the East should fear the Washington football team and that defense. I actually will say that I actually agree with that. I think that Washington football team, their defense is going to be really, really good. All they're truly kind of missing on that team right now is the quarterback. Fitzpatrick is going to be that bridge guy because Heineke, I know they signed him to a couple year deal, but he's not the answer either. So
Well, neither of them are though right now. I mean,
no,
whether it's Heineke or
Fitzpatrick is the
Fitzpatrick,
bridge guy. He's the bridge guy.
but he's gonna guy that gets gonna put you in the conversation for a couple of weeks, and then he's gonna do what he does every single year, besides 2015. So they're a quarterback. If they had a franchise quarterback right now, I could see them going to the playoffs and winning a game or two. They have a chance, that defense. But Fitzpatrick, I'm
absolutely.
telling you, he's the bearded one until he chokes in the Lakers season.
Yeah, trust me. I agree with you on that. But so since we're on the topic of football here, we're going to go around and just talk about what we believe is going to be our predictions for each division this year, who we believe are going to be our division winners. And so, Big B, I'm going to start out with you on this one. Who do you have picked as your division winners?
Oh God, it's tough. I mean, I guess since we already talked Eagles, I guess that if this trade goes through, I mean it's the Eagles' division to lose. But as it stands right now, I gotta go with Washington. I think they're gonna win the East. Out West, gotta stick with the Super Bowl champs as much as I don't want to. The Bucks. In the North. Ace, I got to go with your team. I think if Aaron Rodgers is healthy and that team can fly, it's definitely the Packers division to lose there. Out in AFC East, you got to go with the Bills. In the North, man, it's tough. I think we're going to go with the Browns this year. I think they're going to have a little bounce back.
Ooh.
I'm going to go
Bold
sticky.
move.
And then out West, as long as they stay healthy and Mahomes is their quarterback, Kansas City.
You know what? I did not hear who you picked in the NFC West. Who did you pick in the West?
NFC West, the Bucks.
No,
It's South.
no. NFC.
South. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was South. I was saying West, like Seattle and Arizona and San Fran and.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there is four divisions. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's late for me. I've been busy. I'll go Arizona.
Wow. But I'll tell you what, the NFC West is going to actually be a really, really good division. That's going to be one of the best divisions in football, to where it could go either way. Because I'll tell you what, I like the trade that the Rams made to go out and get a Matthew Stafford. They needed a quarterback. They got him. And I think this is going to help them immensely. And so I was like right there to where I'm like, do I pick Seattle? Do I take the Rams? I don't trust Arizona enough yet. I know they're going to be good, but I just don't think they're going to be good enough to win the West. So at this point in time, just with the addition of Matthew Stafford alone, I think that that's going to be good enough for the Rams to win the West again, especially with the defense that they have. I think their defense is going to be too good. And yeah, so I think just with the addition of Stafford alone, I have to go with the Rams. When you talk about the NFC South, it's not going to really be as close as people may think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to be. It's going to be the Bucs division to lose. I mean, right now, I don't think there's going to be any team that's going to be competitive enough to be able to keep up with the Bucs, because the Saints aren't going to be there. The Panthers aren't going to be there. The Falcons aren't going to be there. It's the Bucs to lose. And then the NFC North, I know I'm going to sound like a homer on this, but anytime you have number 12, I got to go. I got to go with Green Bay there. And then now it comes to the NFC East. The NFC East is another one that I'm like, this is going to be interesting, because if the Eagles manage to somehow get Deshaun Watson and he's able to play with all these allegations and everything against them, then you know what? I'll go with the Eagles. But if not, I'm going with the Washington football team. I think that their defense is going to be too good. That defensive front is just killer with Chase Young. Just with Chase Young alone, man, that dude's a monster. So if that's going to be my big if the Eagles are able to get him, I'm going Eagles. If they don't, I'm going Washington. And then we jump to the AFC. So the AFC East, obviously it's Buffalo's to lose. I know that the Dolphins are kind of getting up there, but I don't think they're ready yet. I personally don't believe in Tua. I don't.
Me either.
I don't think Tua is the answer. I don't think he is. I think that that's something that they truly need is another quarterback. I do. And then when we talk about the AFC West, it's Kansas City's to lose until otherwise. I mean, to be perfectly, I hate to say it, John. I know you're.
I'm
that
not a
Broncos
shocker. I
fan.
don't believe in Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. They can just go back in Madden 21.
All right, good. Because I was going to say, I know you're that Broncos fan, but I was going to say I have to be realistic and say it's the Chiefs to lose. It really is. And then we talk about the AFC North. Is this one going to be a good one? Probably. This is going to be a good division. Big B, you went with Cleveland in this one.
Yeah.
I know Pittsburgh's not going to be as good as they normally are, even though they have a good defense, and you don't want to overlook them. But if I had to pick anybody right now, I got to stick with Baltimore. So I'm actually going to take Baltimore coming out on top. And I know you're saying, "Oh, pump the brakes on it." I get it, but I got to go with them. And then the AFC South. To me, it's really a one-team race in the AFC South that I thought until I realized that Carson Wentz got hurt again, and now it's kind of open to anybody's game unless Rivers decides to come back. If he decides to come back and play for the Colts again, I'll take the Colts. But right now, I'm taking the Titans again. So hold on, John. I'll get to you. I'm going to go to Vic now. So Vic, go ahead and give your picks.
All right. I'm doing this based on who I like and who I hate. Because we all know who I hate.
The teams with the Ducks on there are going to win. Okay.
All right, NFC West. Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks. They're going to take it. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Russell. It's going to be beautiful. Every year I predict it, and this year I'm going to be right. NFC South, New Orleans Saints. Without Jameis Winston as quarterback, it's going to be Taysom Hill. Because I hate Tom Brady. I will never, ever pick any team that has Tom Brady on it. NFC West, I'm going to contradict myself right now. I'm going to go Washington football team. I know earlier I said Philadelphia, but I take it back. I lied. NFC North. Ugh.
Do it.
Go with the Lions. Come on, they got to have a duck on there.
Penei Sewell is a Lion, but Thomas Graham is also a Chicago Bear. But Minnesota has two Ducks in Jordan Scott and Troy Dye. So I'm going Minnesota! Because they're purple, and my mom loves purple. My picks make no sense whatsoever.
It's okay. Isaiah's worse. So there's no.
We're going to have to pull up Isaiah's picks there shortly.
Isaiah said Drew Lock would MVP last year, so don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, AFC South. I hate all of them. I will not pick Tennessee because I hate them. I hate Indianapolis because they're probably going to start a Washington quarterback, and I can't ever root for that. I hate Houston, and I guess I'm going to go Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer.
Are you serious?
Tim Tebow at tight end.
Oh my gosh, this is getting crazy up in here.
You're gonna laugh at yourself when I'm right.
Is this Isaiah 2.0 we're talking to?
This is Isaiah 3.0. I'm sorry.
AFC East,
I'm
I'm going to go Buffalo. So Buffalo is AFC East. AFC North. Oh. I'm going to go Cleveland. I think they're going to have a really good year. I think they're going to gel, and it's going to be beautiful. And Pittsburgh is going to finish with the worst record in the league because I hate the Steelers. And AFC West, I'm going Los Angeles Chargers as long as our defense plays right. I like Kansas City, and if the Chargers don't win, I want Kansas City to win. How's that?
So let me get to a few of these comments before John goes here, because there's been some interesting ones here that I've been seeing here. So we have Randy Cox who's saying that Cowboys will win the East. We're not.
And you made fun of my picks.
And then
And
James
little Randy
Gonzalez
Cox
saying
over here.
Browns win the North only if Odell doesn't destruct them. Randy Cox is saying that Seattle will win the West. Isaiah's picks are saying the East, he's got the Giants. The South, he's got the Bucks. The North, he's got the Packers. The West, he's got the 49ers. The East, he's got the Bills. The West, he's got the Chiefs. The South, he's got the Jags. And the North, he's got the Browns.
Good job, Isaiah.
And then Christy Wilson's also saying that the Cowboys will win the East.
Typical
James
Cowboys
Gonzalez is saying, I want to say LA wins NFC West, but losing Cam Akers really hurts. I'm sure they'll figure out something at running back. Rams over Seahawks. The Seahawks have no O-line. That's where I was getting at. But I do want to get to Randy Cox's picks here, because now we talked about.
Whoa. No. Randy, where you work, you need to get 2 drug tests: 2 for the nose, 2 for the ears, for the mouth, and the.
Yes, because his comments are he's got the Cowboys, Packers, and Panthers and Seahawks winning each division. He's got the Chargers, the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Texans.
How many times do I have to leave the set?
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then
I
Isaiah
agree with the Chargers. I agree with Randy on the Chargers.
But Isaiah is also switching his pick too. Now he's changing his AFC East pick, and he's going with the Jets
Oh my god.
because of Zach Wilson.
Mine were not that bad.
Okay, well, you're about to be in classes in session in just a minute, so get ready to get schooled.
So James Gonzalez is saying Bengals ? Texans ? Yeah, exactly.
If Randy gets half of those AFC teams right, man, we should have a bet that he has to do if he doesn't get them right. I mean,
what is something Randy doesn't like to do or eat? No, we will make Randy play a hole. Randy has to play 18 holes of golf, and we'll play with him, but we have to record it also.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy, because he's saying, mark my words, it'll happen. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is not going to happen. But
all right, we got to timestamp that comment and
yeah, timestamp that, because I want to see that crap. Exactly what the heck.
Believe me, I'll be screenshotting all this right now, so they can't deny it later when they say this bunch of bullshit.
All right, so John, go ahead and give your takes on what you think is going to be the division winners here.
Classes in session. Get your books, get your pencils, put away your phones. I'm about to school all you butthorns here. It's all good and fun. Let me make this very abundantly clear. You go to the NFC North. The Chicago Bears quarterback identity. And if I said what I was going to say, you would be canceled. The Detroit Lions. If you look at their receiving core, it's as bad as Vince Young's rookie year. Like, who is this? One of your best receiver was, what's his name for the Bucs in 2019, who had 600 yards and had 1 year deal with the Jets. Who Corey Davis is there now. Name one of the guys that we're familiar with, right? The Big B and Ace. You can't. These guys are absolute garbage. I mean, my goodness, Jared Goff has nobody. You thought he was overrated before. He's going to get exposed this year. Detroit is a complete mess. They don't believe in golf. They're lying to you like your girlfriend did in high school. Chicago, who knows when they're going to start. Hopefully they don't feel the pressure of starting Justin Fields so early on, because that's that problem with franchises. Like, y'all have watched football for what, like in college and the NFL. When you pressure a guy or by the media or by fans, you're going to end up ruining his career completely 100%. The NFC North, I'm always saying Green Bay, not because AC's here, because I know what Aaron Rodgers is capable of, but at the same time, Minnesota, who? Like, I'm sorry, like, you drafted a guy in the 3rd round, so clearly at some point in time, you're trying to move on from Kent Cousins. You know,
don't get me started on Cousins.
And Phillip Rivers is a slightly above average Kent Cousins, so don't at me at that. And certain numbers can be very close to that. Chicago's not winning it. Detroit's not winning it. Detroit can complete in the toilet bowl versus a couple of college teams this year. Minnesota, they absolutely have no chance here. What is up, Chicka Chicka? You know who the Green Bay Packers will win the division, not because they're as good as we say they are, but because they're in the division like the NFC North. Because if we're going to do the same thing about the AFC East for a long time with Tom Brady, we need to do the exact same thing with Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay. A lot of people are not. I say 12-5, 13-4 for Green Bay, not because they're as great as the Bucks or these other teams or the Chiefs. It's just because they're in a division like the NFC North. NFC East here, all of you here need to get your pencils and write this down because Isaiah, you also look like you're in jail right now with that.
John, keep in mind, there's 17 games this year.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Still,
Yes.
the NFC East, Washington's going to win it. I love what Washington is building, even though they don't have a name, they can't think of a name. They in the next 2 to 3 years, if you just even count this year. Yes, somebody made a comment. It's Ryan Fitzpatrick's game not to lose, but that's the problem. Is he's gonna find you a way to lose a game. He had a career year in 2015. Washington has a very good offensive line. Second year Antonio Gibson. You have Terry McLaurin. You have Springer, whatever the tight end name is. You have the guys on defense. It is their division to lose, in my opinion. I could see them winning 9 to 10 games this year, not because of Ryan Fitzpatrick, because you got the receiver. You got the running back. You got the young tight end. You got the experienced offensive line. You got the great, hungry, middle-aged, young defense with Washington. I see them winning it this year. Dak Prescott, though, it's not just Dak Prescott, though, to my hating the Cowboys. A lot of these injuries, folks, we know they tend to rush quarterbacks back. Certain reports, it's 6 to 12 months. Well, in reality, it could be 2 to 3 years before they're 100%. But since you need him back for the next season, there's a chance that they could re-aggravate that injury. Is he going to play 100% the same? The Cowboys last year, and I think Isaiah was on the show with Cal on night shift when I woke up my mom because I was speaking so loud on this. Based on what happened last year, you think Matt McCarthy's going to motivate you to play better? That's an absolute joke here. It's not because it's hating on the Cowboys. It's quarterbacks in general, Christy, because when you rush a guy back, mind you, the same thing happened in the NFC East in 2013. RG3 could have been something special. They had a great year that year. If he stayed out for 2 or 3 years, who knows? Washington could have been something to mess with for years to come. But unfortunately, that didn't unfold. So if that's a story to learn, hopefully Dallas can learn that. The Eagles, you got a young head coach who I've never heard of, Joe Flacco being your backup. He's a bum, less than 400 yards a year. So I see Washington winning the NFC East here. And I say I hope you're writing down notes because you talk out of your rear end with your NFL takes. The NFC South, I'm trying to find, is Tom Brady? Oh, wait, he's still in the NFC South. Dude, disrespecting the GOAT. Let me shine ring number 8 for Tom Brady because that's exactly what he's going to get this year. Because you think about it, in that division, first of all, Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. He had multiple torn ACLs in college. He is a slightly less exciting Lamar Jackson without an average arm. He can't throw the football. He can only run. And that's only going to take you so far. And if you have a guy like Jameis Winston, who's as blind as I say when it comes to Michigan losing against Ohio State, they don't have a chance. Atlanta, their identity is so frustrating. Like if y'all have ever had kids, one day they're in a good mood, and one day they're not in a good mood. That's like Atlanta. Are you rebuilding or you're trying to contend right now? You got Calvin Ridley. You traded away Julio. You got Kyle Pitts with the 4th pick here. You have guys on defense can't get the job done. You reduce Matt Ryan's contract from like 40-something down to the lower 20s. That's not speaking of trying to contend right now, especially there's no way they can get 6-7 plus wins. I mean, my gosh, Tom Brady's in the division. Tom Brady's there. The Panthers, I don't like their coach at all. I'm sorry. You draft 7 defensive players in your first year coaching, and you're wondering why Teddy Bridgewater didn't play as well as he could have. The Bucks are winning that division, so I hope you're writing down notes. The NFC West, I think I agree with a lot of people. That's the most exciting division this year. When you have the Cardinals, Seattle, the 49ers, and the Rams. The Rams, I believe, have a great chance to win the division. Thing is, they're going to be under a lot of pressure because this year and next year, there are 2 windows to win the Super Bowl. Because they're going to have to blow it up again, just like Isaiah has to redo his takes over and over and over. I say it's a close race between the Rams, maybe a little bit of Seattle, but between the Cardinals and the Rams, but I still have a huge question mark with the Cardinals, though, just because Cliff Kingsbury shouldn't have had the job in the first place. I don't know if we can disagree about certain takes here, but Cliff Kingsbury should have not gotten the job in the first place with Arizona. I say
I
the
agree
Rams
with
right
you on
now because I like Stafford, though, and maybe with these type of weapons, we can finally see his capability. I know I'm going back and forth here, but before the 2020 season, if you break the numbers down of when he started all 16 games, those are MVP-like numbers. Now that you finally give them those type of weapons, yes, you don't have Cam Akers. You have guys that can come in. You got Robert Woods, 3 or 4 straight years of 1,000 yards. You got Cooper Kupp, just got his 3 to 4 years, $60+ million. They have the weapons. They have the offensive line. They have Aaron Donald. They have or Michael Brockers went to Detroit. They have the weapons. It's going to be a close race between the Rams and the Cardinals, in my opinion, really pending any injury, because Seattle is like they're a first quarter football team. The first 4 to 5 to 6 weeks, Russell Wilson, MVP, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf playing great. And then they disappear. Because who else do they have on defense besides Jamal Adams? There's going to be a lot of pressure to pay Jamal Adams. You don't have the money. You could have used that to get offensive lineman in the draft. Oh, wait, you traded that big. You could have done it next year. Oh, wait, you traded that big. So it's between the Rams and the Cardinals right now, just because, again, Cliff Kingsbury is a huge question mark. AFC North, in the wild card round, it's going to be the Browns and the Ravens, and the Browns are going to come up on top because of the running game. Baker Mayfield doesn't need to throw 3 to 4 plus 100 yards a game. That doesn't make him bad. That doesn't make him elite. Well, how the Browns are, now the question now, of course, is OBJ coming back, as you know, from a torn ACL. But I say it's the Browns in the wild card round. AFC East, though, it's going to be Buffalo. Buffalo's winning that division. I don't know who would disrespect Josh Allen at this point here in time. A surprise. I'm not saying New England's going to do much, but I'm saying just be careful, though, because Bill Belichick knows exactly what he is doing. And Ace said, I don't know how you feel, Big B or the Vic or whatever real name is. Tano was not the franchise quarterback. He's hiding them from what they could actually be. AFC South, I'm going to say it's Tennessee's to lose, not because they're the greatest team in that division or a top 5 team, because you have the Texans are a complete disaster this year. The Jaguars, they have a rookie quarterback. Yeah, you got Travis Etienne, you got those guys, but he's a rookie. Urban Meyer has health issues, so that's definitely a big concern for me. Philip Rivers comes back. He's a solidly above average Kent Cousins. So that's really not saying that much at all. I say it's Tennessee to lose, but if Philip Rivers comes back, I'd still say it's Tennessee, but maybe one game at best. It's because Derrick Henry, once you stop him, there's really not much left there. So Tennessee for now. AFC West, I know it is, Adam. I know. Drew Lock isn't the guy. Teddy Bridgewater isn't the guy. There needs to be a arrest warrant out for John Elway for committing fraud, or at least there's a variant out there that is pretending to be John Elway. Kansas City Chiefs will win the division. Yeah, we got Melvin Gordon, but you let Philip Lindsay go, and the Chargers can go down the river. And obviously, my team probably has the worst quarterback in the division, but it's the Chiefs' division to lose.
All right, and I know I'm going to regret this.
Oh, boy.
But Isaiah,
Don't do it.
please tell me your
Don't do it.
picks, and I know I'm going to regret this.
All right, I'm gonna be like Vic. I'm just gonna pick the teams
I
based
can't
on
hear
who
your
I
takes. I'll be
like.
right back.
So let's start with the NFC, shall we? I'm gonna go with the Giants. I'm gonna go with the New York Giants because the Cowboys, screw them. The Eagles, I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. The Washington football team, I've never been a fan of Ryan Fitzpatrick. All the quarterbacks in the NFC East, I've never been a fan of them. I just like what Joe Judge is building in New York. I like their defense. Plus Saquon Barkley's coming back. Plus they got Kenny Golladay. I feel like they got one more receiver too. Forgot the guy's name from Florida. They drafted in the first round, and then they got that tight end Rudolph as well. So and Evan Ingram too. If he can stop dropping passes, I think he will be a really good tight end. So I'm gonna pick the Giants. The NFC. Let's start with the West. I gotta go with my Niners. A lot of people are saying great things about Trey Lance following like the first 7 days of practice, whether it's his teammates or whether it's the media members that are covering it. You had two 49er players today. I forgot who they were, but they came out and said that Trey Lance was Patrick Mahomes 2.0 and that he has the best arm they've ever seen. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if he's truly that good. I have to see preseason to see him play to see how he is, but I got to go with my Niners because, I'm never going to pick against my team. Let's see who else we have. NFC South, Tampa Bay. I can't bet against Tom Brady. Plus, I'm not a big fan of Jameis Winston. Matt Ryan. I mean, the Falcons are all about offense. They have no defense. And then the Panthers, I like Matt Rue, but I just don't think Sam Darnold is the answer after having watched him play, so many games in the Pac-12. I've just never been a fan of him. The NFC North, Ace, I got to go with your Packers. Aaron Rodgers, can't bet against number 12. AFC East, I'm picking the New York Jets. I'm picking Zach Wilson and the New York Jets to win the AFC East. I've been a big believer of Zach Wilson. This is the guy that I said going into the draft that I wanted to be on my 49ers, that I was clamoring for a long, long time. And I said if he came to San Francisco, we would win 3 to 4 Super Bowls. And, sadly, he didn't come to San Francisco, but he's with Robert Saleh in New York, who I love a lot from his days with the 49ers. So I'm picking Zach Wilson and the Jets. The AFC West, I'm not making that mistake again like I did last year. I'm picking the Chiefs over the Denver Broncos. The AFC North, I got to go with the Browns. Pittsburgh, I feel like they're too old. I think Roethlisberger might get hurt in the middle of the season. He wasn't even that good, in the second half last year. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, I've never been a big fan of him. Like, yes, you can run all you want, but to win in the NFL, you still have to be able to be competent in passing. And then the Browns, I picked them last year. They finished, I believe, a game back of the AFC North title. I think they'll be able to run it back and this time win the division. And then the AFC South, me and Vic agree. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars and Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. I'm a big believer in them. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a monster year. I think Joe Cullen, the defensive coordinator, he's going to fix up that defense. They will be a legit defense. And then you have the Jaguars offense with Lawrence and Etienne and Carlos Hyde, Marvin Jones. I would not be shocked, and this is me being serious, I would not be shocked if the Jaguars have a top 5 offense.
Wait, hold on.
Oh
Who's
my
on that-
God.
Who's on that defense besides,
Oh my
I believe,
God.
Malik Johnson and Josh Allen?
Good Lord.
Who else is on that defense? Name them right now without looking it up. That'd be a top.
What did you do?
Is Aaron
Thank
Donald
you
not
for letting
exist?
me make my picks. I really appreciate that.
That was crazy.
Wow.
And you really? No, I can't say that. Yeah,
So
I would be
Isaiah's
crazy for
taking 2 teams that finished a combined 3 and whatever, and putting them as division champs
So-
at 10 and
that.
7.
3 and
each
31. If you want to be
Yeah.
that rude.
It's not as
But that's
bad
what
as
I said.
Randy's, though. It's not as bad as
No,
Randy's.
yours and Randy's are bad. I know Vic's are based on like who you don't like, and that's different though compared to Isaiah, who he's being serious, not just teams you don't like. Believe me, Vic, there's a ton of teams I don't like. I'd rather Chargers go 0-17 every year, and the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes not play for the Chiefs. But
So we
that's
do
nothing.
have a few comments here that people. So Christy Wilson is saying screw you, John Elway. So she kind of feels
That's the hashtag. Thank you,
the
Chris.
same way. David Sparks is saying, "What's up, boys?" He's saying Lance is going to be a bust.
Dave,
He's also saying that
Bust.
he's the next Trubisky.
What,
and
Dave's
then-
the next Trubisky or Lance?
And then
Lance,
Christy
really.
Wilson is saying Zach Wilson is going to get murdered this season.
Yeah.
He definitely is because he doesn't have an offensive line. So I don't see how the
Well, I mean,
Jets
they
can-
did draft one like the late first or second, but even then, it's
They
yeah.
drafted one.
What if they ever developed their offensive line? The last offensive line guy from
Exactly.
like a year and a half ago was Ryan Clay for the Panthers, and where is he right now?
And then,
Exactly.
and then Christy Wilson saying Isaiah's faith is misguided. It is technically true. So the next topic we're going to talk about, and I know normally, Jason normally has a spotlight player, but we're kind of doing something a little different here, to where I'm just going to say, when you go to your favorite team, who do you think is the most underappreciated person on your team. So that spotlight player that you think that people should really pay attention to. And so, the Vic, I'm going to start out with you on this one.
Are we talking any sports or a certain
No.
sport?
Well, yeah.
Sorry,
The
Any
only
sport.
good sport.
Yeah,
Football.
any sport. It doesn't matter. Any
All right.
sport. And Vic, I'll start out with you.
Most underrated player?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Atlanta Braves, of course, and Heredia. Gilmore Heredia.
Uh-oh.
He's
No,
What?
sorry.
I mean, if you had told me this time last year that one of our starting fielders would be Gilmore Heredia, I'd be like, who is that? But without him this year, Atlanta would be buried even deeper than they are already. He's a feel good story. So I would say he's the most underrated player on the Braves right now.
Okay. So you're going to go baseball wise. Big B, what are
Yeah.
you going to go wise?
I always go baseball.
Oh, God. I'm going to go baseball too. Twins. And I'm going to go with the guy that's been injured a lot. And a few years ago, I probably would slap myself for saying this, but Byron Buxton. I think, there's been stats out there that proves that when he's in the lineup, Twins are winning. So I think he's underrated, and I don't know, underappreciated is the word, but when he's in the lineup, the team wins at about a 70% rate. So if he stays healthy, you can't argue the numbers, but that's where I'll have to go.
All right, so before I get to the next two, we have a few comments here. Davis Sparks is saying Allen Robinson for him as far as he's talking about the Chicago Bears. And then Christy Wilson saying Amari Cooper. And then James Gonzalez is saying, I guess, Derek Carr for him. So, Isaiah, your spotlight player, who you would say is like the most underrated that people don't really look at. And it doesn't matter what sport, baseball, football, whatever.
I'm going to go with baseball, and I'm going to go with Mark Canha of my Oakland A's, because there's a stat out there that I believe it read that when Mark Canha's not in the A's lineup as the leadoff guy, the A's have one of the worst lineups production-wise in all of baseball. I think they go from like top 10 to like bottom 3 in all of baseball when he's not in the lineup. He's a guy that works long at bats, takes a lot of pitches, fouls off a lot of pitches, makes the pitcher work. And then when he gets on base, you have to keep an eye on him because he's, a threat to steal bases. So it makes the pitcher distracted. And he's really good in the hit and run situation and putting the ball in play, while all the other A's players just seem to have this mentality that it's a home run or strikeout for them. So I got to say it's Mark Canha.
So James Gonzalez is saying Mark Canha is a fraud. He leans into pitches.
And so was Matt Chapman. I think you tell him, how stupid are you, Chappie? Oh, wait.
I will give Isaiah props to where he's actually been given Chapman a lot of crap. He's been like, are you kidding me? Because Isaiah, and I think you'd agree with me on this. I'm glad you didn't say Chapman, because the dude is like on a strikeout freaking machine right now. That's what he does. That's all he does is strikes out.
He is horrible. If you guys went on my Facebook, you guys can go on my Facebook and check it out. I made a post today that said Matt Chapman needs to be benched. This guy is now an automatic out. He cannot catch up to a 82-mile-an-hour fastball. Like I saw today, I believe it was Pierce Johnson that threw him an 82-mile-an-hour fastball. And this guy swung and missed, and he wasn't even close to making contact with that ball. Like I believe he was like 5 seconds way too early on the swing. Like you could see it on the replay. It was embarrassing. And I said that I guarantee you Matt Chapman could not hit a freaking softball if I pitched the softball to him right now. That's how bad he's been for the Oakland A's. And I'm ashamed that I picked him to be my MVP this season.
All right. John, Who's the most underrated player on any one of your favorite teams?
Now, the Broncos would have been Philip Lindsay if he was still there. Because I get last year was a down year, but you also split the carries with Melvin Gordon. Even if Philip Lindsay had a great year his first year. Again, thanks a lot, John Elway, for trading him. That's not forgettable. But right now, to be honest with you, I mean, obviously it's not Melvin. I would have to say Jerry Jeudy. He had a terrible year last year. There's no stretch of the imagination. Now, if the highlights are what he's showing on social media, working with his hands and having better athleticism and better agility, I think he could have a really good year this year, especially with Cortland Sutton coming back from an ACL, which can take a lot longer than a year. Noah Fant, who knows what he can do? Evan Gordon, who knows? Because again, it depends on the starting quarterback. But for the Cavs, I mean, yes, you paid Jaron Allen. Maybe that's like underappreciated. To me, to a certain extent, it could either be because people don't talk about it enough, or maybe the media doesn't talk about certain players enough. But for me, it definitely this year could potentially be Jared Jeudy, depending on if he can improve, man, he could be definitely something special.
All right, so we do have a few more comments here that says, let's see, James Gonzalez saying no Isaiah Chapman would destroy your softball toss, and I completely agree with that. He would destroy it. Caleb Davis is also saying, as a Braves fan, so Vic, look at that, we have another Braves fan in the house, and Caleb Davis. As a Braves fan, we were calling for Smiley to be designated for assignment. Absolutely. Early in the year, we were calling, and I said, man, this was a horrible pickup, but then he's actually been our second best starter. I know he did allow 3 runs tonight, but he's actually relatively pitched well for basically a majority of the season. So I'm actually glad that we got him. But we're going to go to our final topic of the night, which is going to be who we believe is our top 5 Carolina Panthers of all time. And so, you know what, Big B, I'm going to start with you on this. Who do you have as your top 5 Carolina Panthers?
I'm going to probably shake it up a little bit. Throw out some names.
Oh boy.
On the defensive side more than offensive side. Number 5, I was a fan of his. And he passed away last year. I'm going to go with linebacker Kevin Green at number 5. I always liked how he played. He played hard. Number 4, going to go with another linebacker, Sam Mills, another guy I thought played really well. Always seemed to be in highlight reels. Number 3, I'm going to go, again, another linebacker, Julius Peppers. I think he, by far, watching him with the Packers and stuff, I thought he played phenomenal. I know we're talking Carolina, but I thought he also played phenomenal there. Number 2 and 1, kind of debated a little bit. I know number 2 is still in the league, but he did do good things in Carolina when he first came in. Cam Newton. I think he kind of put him on the map in some games and some seasons. And then number 1, probably their greatest weapon they've had outside of a couple running backs. I'm going to go Stephen Smith.
All right. So, John, I'll go with you on this one.
Number 1, I would have to say, if you're talking about offense or defense, it would have to be Steve Smith. Like I know the numbers don't always like show it all the time, but I love the way he played. I love his attitude. I love just how he is as a player and a receiver and as a person. Number 2, it would have to be. I mean, I get like we talk about all this, but Julius Peppers. I mean, you can talk about the records. You can talk about him getting to the quarterback. But being that consistent at that position isn't always the easiest to do because you see other guys falter off the map. They can get injured because you hated the quarterback time and time again. Number 3, though, even though Jake Delhomme wasn't like the guy people talk about a lot, they were in a Super Bowl with Steve Smith against the New England Patriots in 2003, I believe. I know they lost that Super Bowl, but the last time Carolina was in a Super Bowl was, of course, Denver, and they lost again. But still, like that, he may not get talked about a lot, but playing with Steve Smith, and getting to a Super Bowl, especially with the Bucks that next year being what they were, is definitely was something there. But of course, Steve Smith has to be my favorite of all time. I mean, Luke Kuechly, man, it's unfortunate that he retired early due to injuries, which is ironic because this league's supposed to be a lot more safer nowadays, but we're seeing more injuries, so that's not very safe at all in NFL here. But Luke Kuechly was a phenomenal player. If he kept playing, man, who knows? Maybe some of those numbers from Julius Peppers could have been beaten by Luke Kuechly. I don't know. And I believe number 4. I don't know. I lost track. I'll just say my last one. Man, would have to be Greg Olsen. On and off the field, that guy was a class act, and he didn't get in any trouble. He was for the right. He was what you want your kids to act like on and off the field. They were an NFL player. When during the time when there's a lot of distractions, some people's distractions with Camp and other guys, he handled it very well. He's very humble, and I think he's going through some hard times with one of his kids or something right now. But he's a phenomenal player.
All right. So I was actually glad on a few of them that you came up with because we all knew that, that Steve Smith was obviously going to be one of those guys. I was glad that, Jake Delhomme was one that was thrown out there. Greg Olsen was another one that you could really consider. So, Vic, with yours, who'd you have for your top 5?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Can anybody guess who number 5 is?
No.
Oh, boy.
Come on. You know
it's
it.
hard to guess on your list. It's really
Say
hard.
it.
On your list. It's hard to
Is he a
guess.
kicker?
Running back.
Oh,
It's not D'Angelo or Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan Stewart.
Jonathan
Right?
Stewart.
Jonathan
Oh,
Stewart.
God.
Jonathan Stewart. Oh, what? You watch yourself, Brando. Watch it.
Hey, you're a Vikings fan,
7,300
Brandon.
total yards, 51 touchdowns, and he's a Duck. So Ducks automatically make the list. Just for future reference, Ducks make the list every time. Whether they're
Even
good or
Marcus
bad.
Mariota? Sorry.
He'll be on every
Oh,
list
yeah.
I make. Yeah. Number 4, got Greg Olsen, just like John. I mean, the dude is just straight up, his parents raised him right. Number 3 is Luke Kuechly. Kukachuchi. I don't know.
Keekly. Yeah.
Kuechly. Yeah, he retired way too soon, but I get it. I mean, yeah, you gotta protect yourself. Number 2, Julius Peppers. I mean, dude was just scary good. And number 1, Steve Smith. I mean, the guy's automatic. I mean, what else? You guys, Brandon and John have already said everything about him that needs to be said. So,
Hey, when you talk about Carolina Panthers receivers, besides him, who do you really? It's not. Who do you
Musa
think about?
Muhammad would be the
Offensive
next
weapons.
Yeah. Musa Muhammad was there. Ricky Pearl was there for like a short amount of time, but he
But
wasn't.
he was there for like the longest. I think that's.
Yeah.
wasn't Robbie
what's
Anderson there?
Yes,
He's
Robbie
there.
Anderson.
He's
Yeah,
there
but-
his second year.
But
had a
he
career
came
year last year.
from the Jets. Yeah, he came from the Jets. But Isaiah, I'm afraid to say this. I'm afraid to ask. But
Please don't before I
But-
have to walk out the set for a regular amount of
but
time.
who's on your top 5?
There's like so many players to choose from. Like I wrote
means he
this
doesn't
list down. It's like, but let me start from number 1 all the way to 5. Number 1, it's got to be Steve Smith because when you think about the Panthers, you think about Steve Smith and his toughness. Making all those tough catches. Plus, he was with the Panthers, I believe, for his entire career, but the final 2 years, which he was in Baltimore. So you got to definitely give him the number 1 spot. Number 2, I'm debating between Luke Kuechly, Cam Newton, and Christian McCaffrey. I'll give it to Cam Newton because he was there and he was like one of their franchise icons. They took them to the Super Bowl, so I'll give it number 2. Luke Kuechly's got to be number 3 on that list. I mean, this guy was tremendous. He was a monster on the defensive side of the ball. Number 4, I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, this guy is a monster right now, and I think he has a chance to move into number 2 or number 1 as he continues his career. And then number 5, I'm going to go with Thomas Davis. This dude played majority of his career. He played a long, long time, I believe like 12 years with the Carolina Panthers, and I just got to applaud his longevity.
All right. No, I right there with you. But I think we're all in agreement that when you think about, Carolina, the first thing you think about is Steve Smith. Like he's kind of been he's the one guy that immediately comes to mind when it comes to Carolina. Carolina is like one of those teams that they haven't really had a lot of awesome players in their franchise. They've had maybe 4 or 5 that you come out like, okay, these are like their 5 best players, and after that, they've had decent ones. And you can talk about guys like Julius Peppers and Jake Delhomme. I didn't even want to put Cam Newton in my top 5. I
I
really didn't
wouldn't.
want to. Absolutely, I'm there with you because he technically had one good season, and that was his MVP season. And then after that, he kind of went
But you also remember
downhill.
he completed less than 60% of his passes and barely had a QBR of 90. And most of the years they
Oh
went to the
yeah,
playoffs, they had a losing record. So I don't
yes.
like Cam Newton. I think he's overrated. Great dude, but just not a great quarterback.
The only reason that they gave him that MVP award because he had like 30 some touchdown passes, but also had
Over
like
1,000
thir-
yards. Yeah.
13 rushing touchdowns on the season. That's the only reason they gave him MVP on that year. So he definitely wasn't there, but Musa Muhammad you could almost put in there. Julius Peppers definitely is in there. Greg Olson, he's another guy. Who's going to lead them to their next Super Bowl? I can tell you now, I don't think that it's going to be Darnold. I don't think it's going to be him.
It would have been Teddy Bridgewater if they kept him.
What?
They have
No,
no
no,
offense.
no,
They have no offensive line. You literally would have to give
no.
your future coaches and GMs for the next 100, 200 years to maybe have a sound of getting another quarterback like Rodgers or somebody. Even at that, it's not guaranteed.
Ace,
And-
let,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Vic. Go ahead.
yeah.
Oh, I
and-
didn't have anything.
No, and I was just gonna say, I know Isaiah, you had Christian McCaffrey in your top 5, but the thing is I couldn't put him there yet because number 1, he hasn't been there long enough, and number 2, he hasn't been able to stay healthy enough. Those for me have been 2 big factors that I have not been able to put Christian McCaffrey in the top 5. If he stayed healthy every year, you could almost call him almost the best back in the NFL.
He was
would
like Le'Veon Bell was before all this.
Yeah,
other
he would
stuff.
definitely be up there with Derrick Henry, but he can't stay healthy, and he hasn't been there for long enough to put him in the top 5 yet. But you were gonna say something, Isaiah.
No, I was gonna ask you like where do you have Christian McCaffrey on your list, but you answered the question.
Oh, well, Christian McCaffrey is definitely not top 5. Maybe top 10 right now. I mean, I'd probably put him there, but when he retires, maybe he'll be in my top 5.
Laundry's
Maybe.
done.
But anyway,
We got 5 minutes left.
So
Oh.
we're pretty much at that time now. So we're gonna go around the room one more time, and so everybody can give their final thoughts. So Big B, I'll start with you. Any final thoughts?
No, glad to be back after a long, well, I should say long, but a week away with the family and stuff. Glad to get back in the swing of things. Check me out Saturday afternoon with Movie Hour. I think that's what we're calling it now. Sunday, we'll have our sports show, Morning Tailgate. So check out those 2 shows this weekend and all the other content on Coast to Coast and also MI6 when we got our partners here. And Chris, I want to say thanks again for doing all the background work for us.
Mm-hmm.
And to our viewers, thank you.
And with that, John, everybody knows that you were a part of MI6 for a while, but now you've kind of branched off and kind of done your own little thing a little bit. Do you want to kind of let everybody know about your new network and what you do?
Well, there's a lot of things happening, and I have a big mouth. So I'm trying to keep a lot of that quiet when it comes to potential shows or some guests that I was truly surprised. I got Chris Broussard, and I was like, "There's no way like this, like a guy like Chris Broussard agreed to come on." That was definitely insane. But we'll just really see what happens, and You never know, because when you hear about God in sports, you be like, shh. But my whole point of this is like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you believe in. You come. If you don't want to come on the show, cool, chill. But if you want to, you can believe in dinosaurs have no feet or no. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna shame anybody. We're here to talk sports and have fun. That's really what it's about.
All right, and then of course Isaiah's here from the MI6 network. So, Isaiah, do you guys have anything special coming up?
Well, right now, our main guy, Callan, he's on vacation right now. So me, John, Sammy, and others are holding down the fort right now for him until he comes back next week, I believe. But we don't really have that many special programs this week. We were supposed to have Wild Sports Talk tomorrow, but I guess we're not going to have it because I'm not going to be available. John's not going to be available. Everybody else is not going to be available.
Football time, baby.
Yeah, there's no Wild Sports Talk tomorrow. Next week we might have this guy named Jake Louise Fisher who broke the Russell Westbrook to LA story. He was the one that first broke the story of it happening. He's an NBA insider for Bleacher Report. We were still trying to nail down the exact time and day we're going to have him, but he's probably going to come on our show next week, talk about his career working in sports media, covering the NBA, what's his favorite scoop that he's uncovered, and just talk about NBA free agency in general. So look out for that.
All right, and then Vic, it comes to you.
I'm just ecstatic that our Braves won 2 games in a row.
Me too.
We broke the win-lose streak of 17.
What's their record this year? I haven't followed baseball.
They're at 500 now.
Okay, I will
We're
ask
at
any
500. But we're only 2.5 behind the Mets, so then their Mets are first place. So NL East is not a powerhouse this year, but I mean, come on. I think we're gonna go on a streak now. Go Braves! Go Ducks!
All right,
and
so
I got
with
my
that,
tickets to the practice ice cream social, and I get my picture taken with the duck.
Ooh.
so
Oh, boy.
Sorry,
Isaiah,
it's all ice cream. So
Isaiah, if you want, you can wait to make the announcement or whatever. If you would like to wait till a different time, you
Actually,
can.
you know what? Because I pretty much told everybody on MI6 anyways, and I basically teased.
Big mouth.
So, yeah. But folks, we have breaking news that Ace will be joining Wild Sports Talk on a full-time basis. Well, not like he's not he's officially part of the team.
40 hours
but
a week, 8 hours a day.
It's to fill in for Callan because we all know Callan. He's busy with his announcing gigs with the goals and USD and so much stuff that he's probably not going to be able to be on Wild Sports Talk from August until May. So Ace will be filling in for Callan from August until May, and who knows, he might be on just for the entire duration of the show.
All right, so thank you very much for that. Keep in mind, you will be able to see me on Wild Sports Talks. You'll be able to see me there on Mondays. On Thursdays, I will be on here because I have a show here called Speak Out on Thursday. It's Trey and I. So with that, I hope everybody enjoyed another episode of Sports Minute. And you can actually catch you can actually watch GMs for Hire tomorrow and another episode of Speak Out. And then no Wild Sports Talk tomorrow, as Isaiah was saying. John, when is your next show for your network?
I'm trying to be careful because I've scheduled a lot of special guests. The earliest one I could, unfortunately, one didn't work out. Like I told Isaiah, that's really the industry. After hundreds of them say no, you get used to it. But there's Dean Ladino from Fox Sports is coming back on. We're going to preview the NFL season and talk what the heck is going on in college football with the SEC. So definitely get their perspective on that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, John. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you, Chris. And with that, everybody have a good night, and we will see you later.